welcome to Dirt Bike Magazine's 2018 125 Motocross Shootout. The 125 class is alive and well. It always has been. Back in the old days, the 125 motocross bikes were the biggest selling dirt bikes on earth. Even though that has changed, the small bore two strokes are still a healthy, thriving subculture in the American motocross scene. In this shootout, we're going to bring you 4 different 125cc models, 3 from European manufacturers and 1 from Japan. First up, we have the Husky TC125. This bike features Brembo brakes, a hydraulic clutch, WP AER48 forks up front, a WP shock, black DID Dirt Star rims, Dunlop MX3 tires, a composite subframe and airbox with Husky signature styling. This bike weighs 195 pounds without fuel and has a price tag of around $7,000.
Oh, snap! $7,000. Man.
The bottom line, this bike is the future of the 125 class, as well as the future of motocross in America. It has a strong performance package and great handling. In the class. From Italy, we have the 2018 TM MX125.
Oh, snaps. But I'm talking Italian.
This exotic handmade machine features Blue Excel rims, Dunlop tires, an electronically controlled power valve, KYB forks, a hand-welded aluminum frame, and a shock made entirely in-house by TM. Without fuel, the TM125 weighs 203 pounds with a price tag around $8,000.
Oh, that's even more. Snaps. When you hit the whoopty-doos?
Bottom line, the TM isn't for everyone. It can't be. Only a handful of models are built each year.
Oh,
it's a bike that anyone would be proud to own and ride.
Hell
it's
yeah.
not for a passive rider. You have to get involved at every level. That means learning how to shift right on cue and keep the throttle wide open all the time. Most riders from the 85cc class already know how to do that. Older riders might need some time to adjust.
Oh, my first bike I ever bought. Not that year, but...
And finally, the only Japanese manufacturer in the shootout is the 2018 Yamaha YZ125.
Oh, by the way, the orange one was KTM.
Kayaba suspension components front and rear, Dunlop tires, anodized blue rims, an aluminum frame, and a power plant that hasn't seen major updates since 2005. Without fuel, the YZ125 weighs 201 pounds and has a price tag around $7,000. Bottom line, we've said it before and we'll keep saying it.
Sorry for the muggy sound effects.
Feel like a hero every time you ride. It's hard to argue against the Yamaha YZ125. It handles so well, it makes you happy to be riding. If you go racing against other 125s, the YZ Peak Power does fall a little
You get
short,
spanked.
but you can certainly modify the YZ.
Oh, you can modify it? Well, hell yes. Why wouldn't you? Send it to Rick or Lance. Whoop, whoop. Oh, I didn't show you the KTM one. It's the same as the Husqvarna. Like a bunch of bees. Man, those things are a lot of work, man, I'll tell you that. Riding a 125? I can smell that maximum two-stroke mixture with gas. Back when I was riding them, you had regular gas. Probably some of you guys remember this, some of you guys don't. You had regular gas, then you had unleaded, and then you had premium. What we would do to boost the octane, because, you know, we couldn't get race gas or avgas, we had to deal with pump gas. But you need, back then, I know the two-strokes back then, I don't know how much it's changed now, you had to run around, you want to run around 100 octane, or that thing would ping. So we would mix the regular, you'd mix regular, not regular unleaded, when they used to have just regular. Mix regular fuel, pump fuel, with premium, super unleaded or whatever, premium. You mix them and it boosts the, because I think the highest, the premium was like 92. So it would boost it till you would get around 100, pretty close to 100, or if not 100, depending, you know. And I would mostly use, you know, either Chevron, Texaco, and no Arco, Valero, all that watered down shit that they have out there now. I still think, you know, if you can find it, Chevron with Tektron, Texaco if you can find them, depending on where you live, and also 76 gas was really good too. But anyway, so what's up, Nitro Nation? Yes, I know you guys were expecting, hey, Muggy, I thought you said last time we were supposed to have some running footage. Well, you are going to have some running footage. I just decided to do a pre-video because today I have a doctor's appointment. So I don't know if I'm probably just going to take the day off. I get paid whether I go there or not, which is kind of cool where I work. When I have like days where I need to go to the doctor, or, you know, you have a certain amount of sick days. I get paid for it anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I decided, you know what, I got to go to the doctor's. I'm going to be there for a couple hours, and then when I get back, we're gonna brap, okay? I already told you guys we're gonna brap, and I like to think I'm a man of my word, so we are gonna brap, okay? So we're gonna rip, and I have decided what we're gonna rip, and I'll go over that in a minute. As you can see, getting my my gear ready. I'll go over that in a minute. It's funny because if you guys watch Adam Drake, it was weird because I get his alerts because I'm subscribed to him. And I start watching, you know, okay, Adam Drake just uploaded this new, and it says what he carries in his pit bag, and he goes over it. And I was like, oh shit, I had this stuff all laid on my bed already, you know, because I have my back. Muggy's got his, you know, little backpack. So when I head up the way or whatever to my brap spot, I have everything in my backpack. Pretty much all this fits in there, except for the radio. So anyway. Yeah, when I watched that, I'm like, okay, let me see what Adam's talking about, Adam's checklist. But we'll go over things that I personally take and how I kind of, you know, it's not really a pit bag because I'm not racing, you know, but it's basically, I call it my brat bag. I always make sure I have these vital essentials when I go to do some brapping, because you want to be prepared, man. If you're not, then stuff will happen and you don't have what you should have, or you forget something, and I'm usually not going to like go run back home, and grab it. I'm done for the day. And that sucks. You know, I went on to go brapping, and I've got all the way to the brap spot, and I don't even got my igniter. You know, or I forgot my bottle, my fuel, or I forgot, you know, something lame. I even forgot my radio. No, what did I forget? No, I didn't forget the radio. I forgot. Oh, I know what I forgot. I forgot to put my air cleaner back on my whip. And and when I got there, I took the lid off to get it, and I'm like, what the hell? There's no air. Oh, I can't run my shit without an air cleaner. Hell no. And I see people that do that, and that's like, no. Don't run your shit. I don't care if you're tuning, running out front of your house, whatever. Put a damn air cleaner on, man. That stuff's crazy. I get on my friends about that. Oh, I'm tuning it, man. I go, well, so you want to get something sucked in your carburetor and blow your motor up? Are you a moron? Come on, man. Don't run your shit with, excuse my language, without an air cleaner. That's like basic rookie shit 101. That's almost as bad as I was busting Mr. Tinner's chops about not having a frickin' bag full of exhaust gaskets. You should have tons of, exhaust gaskets, exhaust springs, I mean, basic stuff like that. That's like newbie stuff, okay? Especially if you've been around as long as Mr. Tinner has. No excuses, Chris. Don't make me get in your kitchen. Just kidding. Anyway, so yeah, when I rode 125s, man, it was fun because, I mean, I went from an 80 to 125 and then 250 and then 500s. But the 125s, I compare them as far as, everybody, you guys are probably like, okay, well, what relevance is that to Nitro? Isn't this an 8-scale Nitro channel, Mr. Muggy? Yes, it is. And this plays into what I'm going to talk about mostly. Okay, because as you guys know, I've acquired quite a few .21s. I've got more .21s now than anything. And that's funny because if you guys know how I've always been, I'm not really hip on .21s. I mean, once you start running big motors, trust me, you look at 21s differently. Unless they're modded. And even then, it's still not the same. A stock 28.8 Rex Legend or LRP .32 or Pico P3 .28, or anything 28 and up, even if a modded 21, it's got to be a badass modded 21 to even hang with those big boys. But, I have .21s that would spank some of my motors if they were stock's ass. I'm pretty sure my Reds Team Edition, which, by the way, we are going to rip this baby today. Oh, what, Muggy? I thought you were going to run the P3, or I thought you were going to run the P3. I thought you were going to run the P5 over here in the Tekno buggy, because we're running the Tekno buggy today. Or I thought maybe you might want to run, the Virtus, little badass .21 right here, or maybe, maybe the Muggy might run the, Elite 5-port Novarossi. I mean, I got a few 21s. But no, we're going to run my favorite .21. My Badderasser. My Badderasser 21. The RB modded. Shout out, by the way. Thank you, Rick. I love this motor. It's my favorite .21. Not just because it's modded, because it's a lot of different things, but it is my first modded Reds. It is the only modded Reds that I own. So for you guys out there that are all into your Reds, and there's a few of them, shout out to Drew. Drew's Nitro Shop. Go check him out, man. Give that guy some thumbs up. Give him some love. Give him some views. Give him some subs. Alright? I know he loves Reds. And another guy out there, shout out to Family Affair. He loves Reds too. These two guys are they're Reds. How should I say? They're just diehard Reds fans, man. These guys love Reds. They own multiple Reds motors, probably more than I do. But I don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think either one of them have a modified Reds. So if you guys are watching, which I'm sure you are or will eventually, if you don't own a modified Reds, man, you don't have a clue. I guarantee you, I don't care what Reds you have, your $600 Reds, this RB modded would spank that ass all day long. I don't care if you get a .23 Reds. Unless you mod it, I'll spank that ass too. This is a badass .21. And the other .21 that I have modded is my RCR modded OS. Okay, which I will no longer be. This will probably be the last time I run it. Probably in the next couple weeks. I sold it to my cousin. He's letting me run it a couple more times because it's not really that broken in. He wants me to get a gallon through it before he takes it. And he's cool with that. And I was like, are you sure? It's yours. He goes, no, man, I want that thing ready for me to just rip it. I go, well, you can rip it now. He goes, you know what I'm saying. He goes, I want it to get at least a gallon or so through it. That way I don't have to mess with the tin. Because he's new and he's still learning. He's used to, this stuff right here. He's used to, teabag headaches. Even though he's having me build this thing into the ultimate teabag shelf queen. I mean, I've got I don't know if I've showed you guys, but I've got the polished, I just ordered for him too. This is a one, he wants this thing he says, I'm not even going to run it, I just want it to look pretty. This is the whole center drivetrain. 70-75 billet aluminum. This is a billet. It's a big chunk of aluminum, people. And I just ordered for him the front and rear drivetrain, which are aluminum. He's getting the front and rear the gearboxes are aluminum. I ordered them for him. They're going to be aluminum. I mean, this whole thing is going to be nothing but aluminum. He doesn't want any plastic on it. So anyway, he's used to that. So that's why he's like, you know what, hey, can you make sure that OS motor is, nice and tuned and dialed and ready to rock and roll? And I said, no problem. So anyway, to get back to what we're talking about, 125s is the equivalent to me as a .21. And when I rode 125s, man, they're just a lot of work. You're always on the pipe. You got to stay on the pipe, man. And you'd be like, how do you do that? Did I do it right? That's a little pipe action. They scream though, man. They sound like you see on the video. It sounds like a bunch of bees. I mean, they're just real pipey, man. They're noisy, screaming little things. But well, you would be flying and then you would hit like some real, like a sand pit or something, sand. Yeah. Oh. That thing would bog. You're always shifting, up shifting, down shifting. The 125s, put it this way, are a lot of work. As soon as I rode my friend's 250, I was like, oh, hell no. What am I doing with a 125? And that's when I got rid of my 125 and I got my next bike, which was a 1991 YZ125. And then I rode that, and that was a lot, man. Man, I was just hovering wheelies everywhere, and the power, it was like the equivalent of going from a .21, those of you guys that experience it, rocking a .21, yeah, it screams, even if I don't care if it's a Reds, I don't care if it's a Adam Drake, I don't care if it's a freaking badass Nova Rossi or a Pico .21, and that thing's, man, you're having fun with it, and you're like, man, this thing is badass. And then you drop a Rex Legend 28.8 in your whip or whatever, or you run one of these. You're like, oh, what the? What the? Or as Mr. Zaw would say, what the? Oh, hell no. What am I doing with that pea shooter, man? Just like I talked to, a shout out also to Gearhead Attic. Gearhead, he told me, he's all, bro, man, because he has some pretty decent little 21s. He's got that P5 that's modded. He's got that Mito 7 that's modded. He told me yesterday, he's all, bro, none of those. And those are modded .21s. They're not stock. He goes, they're not even in the same freaking planet as a Nova Rossi 28.8 Rex Legend modified. He's all, hell no. He goes, I probably won't even run those anymore. I'll give them to my son. And that's what I'm saying. When I rode a 125, it's the same thing. That's why I showed that. Because it's to give you guys, those of you guys that are gearheads, maybe some of you guys have rode bikes. I mean, that's an analogy to kind of put into perspective the difference from a .21 to a big block. Some of you guys have experienced it. Some of you guys haven't yet. Some of you guys think your pull start or your rotostart, .28.8 Rex Legend is badass. Well, get one and seal the back. You'll feel the difference. Or get one of those modified It's a whole different level, man. It's hard to explain, man. And the same thing with dirt bikes. 125 stock, and then I modded my 125. Oh, hell yeah, that thing was a freaking rocket, man, between your legs, man. Hold on for dear life. And it still wasn't nothing compared to my to when I got a 250, and then when I got my 250 modded. And then eventually I rode a 500, and the 500 is just a beast. That's like a 20.8 Rex Legend or a Nova or a LRP .32 fully modified drag mod. That's what a 500 would be. You know, and as far as the equivalent of. So, .21s, yes, they're cool, yes, they're fun, but compared to these big boys over here, a 20.8 Rex Legend, or this badass over here, the P3 Pico, not even close, man. Or compared to this, I'm going to explain to this. This says, yes, it is revised. This big old, you know, freaking rice burner beast. This is a rice burning beast. It's I don't want to call it a rice burner because it's, you know, it's a big motor. And it's modified. This ain't no stock, people. This ain't no stock pull start like I see some people have pull start rotostarts, LRP .32s, modified even. That stuff makes me want to puke. A modified, and I understand, well, it's the only way I can run it in my monster truck. Well, that's the problem. You have a monster truck. Graduate already. Monster trucks, Savages, MGTs. You know, you hear Mr. Zoss saying he's trying to get his brother-in-law to, he couldn't get him away from those monster trucks. Some people just, you know, they like their monster trucks. You know, they just don't want to bump start their shit. They, maybe, you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know anybody that loves monster trucks and that's tried a Truggy and says, okay, my monster truck's better. I like my monster truck better. And I'm sure there is. I don't know anybody. Personally. Even Mr. Za, you guys, the infamous Mr. Za video where he ran his 4.0 low C upstate for the first time. He got back, he walked in his garage and pointed at that Savage and said, fuck, excuse my language, fuck that. Fuck that garbage. Fuck that headache. He pointed right at his Savage in the garage and said, fuck that piece of shit. No more. Truggies are it. Period. End of story. And that's when he's seen the light, people. Thank God John Bodagel's seen the light. And he hasn't looked back in. And am I saying that monster trucks aren't fun and that, you know, if you have a monster truck that you're a bad person? And I'm not talking down on people. I'm talking about the whip. Savages, anything RTR. Whether it's a Savage, whether it's a frickin' Hyper, whether it's a Red Cat, whether it's a, you know, whatever. If it's an RTR and it doesn't come in a race kit, it is made, developed, designed for scrubs. You know what that means? That means it's designed for newbies, rookies, brand new people, kids, children. That's what it's for. It's for kids. It's a toy. An RTR is a toy. You don't have to build it. Okay? Doesn't mean if you own one that you're a kid. Doesn't mean if you own one that you're a scrub. Doesn't mean if you own one that you're any of those things. It just means that's what it's made for. You know? So, I mean, I get sick and tired of people getting all pissed off because I say scrub. Oh, what are you saying? I'm a scrub? No, I'm saying your freaking whip's a scrub. It's designed for scrubs. I'm not saying you are. That's what it's designed for. You like playing with a vehicle that's designed for a scrub. Hey, that's your priority. That's your prerogative. Whatever makes you happy, like I always say. If it's your RTR and it's all you got, all you can afford, hey, make the best of it. I'm just saying that's what that whip is made for. You know? Don't think you're all badass because you got an RTR. Oh, man, well, at least I take my RTR and I jump it off the roof. Who gives a flying fuck? It's an RTR, bro. I don't even know why, you know, you don't want to graduate, you don't want to graduate. If you want to stay in 9th grade, why everybody passes you up, then stay in 9th grade. Remember when you were in high school? What did they call you in ninth grade? Scrub. That means you're a newbie. You're a rookie. You're new into high school. And you got trash can. I didn't because I knew all the seniors. Because I partied with them all. But anyway, enough of that. You know, the 125 class, as far as dirt bikes, was fun. I loved it. Man, I loved my 125. I just eventually I had to graduate it. Well, you know, once I tried a 250, I was like, oh, hell no. Why am I even wasting my time with the 125? This is way better. And trust me, if you're messing with .21s and you've never had, at least get a modded .21. Scrounge up $100, work some overtime, sending it to Rick or send it to Lance, and he'll mod the shit out of that thing. Guaranteed, man. Your 120, your little 125, your .21 will be a badass. But still, if you want to run what the big boys run, you want to go next level, you got to get a modified big block. 28.8 Rex Legend, LRP .32, or the two tops. I still, you know, I'm going to show you what's going on with my LRP .32, because you guys are wondering. I've got it back together. It's ready to roll. But there's a drastic change to this motor now, and I'm going to look at this motor differently. Now, I haven't ran it for a while. It's still got not even a half gallon through. This motor doesn't even have a gallon of fuel through it. Okay, it's been modified by Lance at RCR. I had issues with my crank. I had the end bolt break off that holds your clutch bell on. It broke off inside of the crank. I didn't know what I was going to do. I tried tapping it out. It didn't hold once. I was going to tap it out again. And, you know, I have to try to find a special tap. It's just a big headache. And I kind of, you know, I'll be honest with you, I got discouraged in the motor. And that just, it compounded everything, because you guys know that I don't like that motor because it's made in Taiwan. It's a piece of shit motor. It's a big motor. It looks really pretty, and it's, you know, but you have to put a lot into this motor. You can't run a stock X-Tech carburetor on these things. I mean, you can if you don't want it to be tuned right or you don't want it to run right. You can run the X-Tech carburetor all you want, but it's not going to get dialed. Trust me. I've been there, done that. I've even rebuilt that carburetor. There was no hope for the X-Tech carburetor. And that was kind of funny because, you know, I was telling one of the guys, you know, and I felt bad because, you know, Mr. Za put his whole not his whole reputation, but he put it out there that, oh, LRP, man, they're race inspired. Credit due where credit's due. We got to give LRP some credit. Credit for what? All they did is they did nothing. Same piece of shit carb, and even they did worse. They made the old LRP .32s, the Spec 3s or the Spec 3s, 2s, and the other ones. They're better than the Spec 4s. At least their porting was better. LRP just did shitty porting. I mean, I asked Rick, you guys know this, and I've told you guys many times, Rick says every 10 of these motors that he mods, and he mods a lot of these, 2 of them are usually good. Which means the ports aren't all tore up. 2 out of 10 are good. 98% of these motors that are produced, that are coming down the pike, the porting is jacked up. If you want a chance, that's why I tell people, take a chance if you want. If you're a gambler, don't get it modded, run it the way it is. If it chips because of the porting, your motor will blow up. I never took that chance. I mean, I didn't know until after I broke it in. And then after that, I was like, okay, I got in there myself and I did a little smoothing of the porting and stuff like that. And then eventually I got it modded. But still, I mean, that motor, I mean, and it's not just that. I mean, you got to change the carburetor, then you got to pay $70 or $60, whatever, to get another carburetor. And then you got to make a million. You guys, this motor is a lot of work. All the work and money I put in, I put about close to $400 into this motor right here. It's the most expensive motor that I own. Now, it's even more expensive because there's an added feature, okay, that I'll show you guys in a second. You guys are like, come on, Muggy, show us. Some of you guys already know. Some of my close brothers behind the scenes that I talk to all the time, you know, they know. Shout out to, you know, again, the crew. You know, I just gave a shout out to 3 of them. Drew, Family Affair, Gearhead Addict, you know, he's excited, can't wait to get that RTR that he's getting for his son from Mr. Za. That's really cool of John to do that. You know, I told John, hey man, you're gonna get paid back tenfold. You know, I mean, so that's really cool. And I said, okay, Gearhead Attic, are you ready to become famous? Because as soon as you do an unboxing, you'll have more views, more hits, and of anything than you've ever had in your short, illustrious career on YouTube. He's about to get famous. Like, what was that movie, Young Guns? Where Billy the Kid said, make you famous. Well, Mr. Za is going to help Gearhead Attic become an overnight success. I'm just kidding. He's not going to be like some superstar. But he's going to get a lot of views. He said he already is now. He's already getting hit up a lot because everybody knows. You know, because a lot of people watch John. So anyway, to get back to what we're talking to, you know, the monkey gets sidetracked. So the 125 is, you know, fun. Yeah, you know, it was cool learning, but, you know, I had to graduate eventually. You know, and the same thing with the .21s. But some people won't graduate. Guys that race, they only are interested in 21s. And there's a lot of those guys out there too. You know, but I don't know why. I guess people just like, I don't know. It's weird. That's why I really didn't get into racing, because the .21s don't excite me. I know it's the excitement is more of the racing on the track and the jumping and all, but it's the power behind it. The power plant doesn't do a lot for me. Not when I ran modified 28s and 32s and my Pico. How can I say, oh, that'd be like me riding a 250, Yamaha or YZ125, or a Honda or whatever, and jumping on a 80 and saying, oh yeah, this feels better. It would probably be fun for a second, but that's about it. Or me, you know, driving a 4-cylinder, Toyota, Tercel, or whatever, and you know, then me jumping in a Lamborghini Murcielago or a Bugatti, and then me going back to the 4-cylinder and saying, oh yeah, this I like this better. This feels better. Unless you're retarded, that would never happen. Not anybody that I know, anyway. But yeah, like I said, to each his own. I'm not talking crap about .21s. Like I said, I have tons of them now. I need to get me some big blocks. So anyway, we are going to run today. We are going to run the Tekno. Okay, we are going to run the R5 Team Edition. Okay. Also, shout out to 1/5 RC. Shout out to Connor Wickby. Shout out to Audrey Perez. You know, you guys say a prayer for Audrey. I know he's been going through some family stuff. And, you know, I say a prayer for him. You know, I haven't heard from him in a while. Hopefully everything's good. I'm sure it is. Like I said, sometimes we just need to, you know, step away and take care of what's more important in our lives, which is our family. This is not going anywhere. This will be here. Also, shout out to Eastside RC. Did I miss anybody? I think I covered pretty much everybody. Shout out to, you know, Woogie. Oh yeah, Woogie. By the way, what was I gonna tell Woogie? Oh yeah, that Mugen MBX5, the body and everything looks really good, man. But those green shocks don't match. Come on, Woogie, you got to get more with the matching. Your color coordination is all off, bro. You got blue and white, and then you got these green shocks sticking out of the thing. Thing looks. I'm just giving you a hard time, bro. But no, his MBX looks pretty good. He's excited. He's getting all ready to you know, to cut his teeth and hit the track. So, and hopefully I'll be able to get this thing out to the track, because this thing is ready, willing, and able. Well, we're going to rip this thing for the first time because it has all these upgrades. You know, last time I ran it, you guys seen it, we ran the Virtus, which screamed like a mother in this thing. And it had all the race diffs on it. We thickened the diffs up on it now. I want to see what it does like that. We've got all the carbon fiber and everything put on it. She's looking sexy, man. She's ready to race. She's ready to bash. She's ready to whatever, man. She is on call, ready for whatever the muggy wants her to do. She's ready. And she's well equipped with a badass modified RCR .21 OS. And the only China rice burner that I have. So yeah, we're going to run today we're going to run the Tekno 48 NB 48.4 with the, bam, look at that. Oh, super snaps. What? That's a modified .21. Yeah, I was like, you know what? I ran the Virtus. I ran the P5. Yeah, you know, guys are running their P5s, and you know, even I mean, it's a badass little motor, you know, and that Virtus is too. But they're stock 21s, man. I can't. They were cool and they were fun. It's time for me to get back to my other 21s. And remember, we're still doing a .21 shootout. Okay, I still am not just the 28 shootout. People still want to know who's the badasser. Okay, that's the Muggies word. Some of you guys be stealing my shit. Okay, don't be stealing my phrases and my word. Okay, remember the Nitro Nation is the Muggy Maniacs. I'm gonna patent that shit. Okay, I'm the one that came up with it. I own it. It's mine. It's shared for everybody, and everybody can get a piece of it. But don't get that twisted. Nitro Nation, that shit I came up with. Nobody else did. Okay, and that badasser shit, that's mine too. So you know, I know you guys are throwing it around there, but just remember, okay? You know, that's be yourself. Don't be copying the Muggy. I'm just kidding. You guys can do whatever you want. It's your channel. It's your channel. Your money. Do whatever you want, man. Anyway, so to get back to this. This is the badasser of my .21s. This is the Italian Stallion. Oh, by the way, that 125 that they showed on there, that thing's made in Italy, man. I didn't know they made an Italian 125. That's what I'm talking about. Italian and Byron's or nothing. Okay? So anyway, we got this in here. I'm running the... I'm only running a 3-shoe on this one, but I got the 3-shoe Max Life, which I like those. Running a 14 on here, and we have the modded Team Edition. And what is this lungs going to be? I've never ran... I was thinking, I've never ran this setup on my modded Reds. So we're going to rock. Look at this thing, so shiny. Yeah, that Blue Magic shit, that shit is the bomb. Hey, cancel what I said about Brasso. It's good. You already have it. Go buy some Blue Magic. Walmart carries it. Trust me, Blue Magic, that is the shizit. The shiznizzle. Okay? I thought that, you know, the Brasso was good until my cousin turned me on to that Blue Magic shit. Oh, that shit's badass. That shit's badasser. I mean, check this out. Okay, let me show you. Okay, see this pipe here? Okay, see this? Okay, see this side? The header? See that? Before? Oh, wait a minute, yeah. Oh, yeah. Before? Okay, you guys getting a good look at that? Let me get you good lighting. See that? Before? Hit it with Blue Magic. After. BAM! Look at that shit. Oh, snaps. Come on, people. Any questions? Before? Yeah, kind of dull. Blue Magic. BAM! Look at that shit. Yeah, that shit works killer, man. I'm sold on it. By the way, we're going to run this on the OS. And I had an 86 clone on there, but I want to run this off in the 86 with this 40. I think this is a 40. It doesn't have a marking. I believe this is a 41002. I believe it is. I'm not sure. Or, yeah. I think it's a 4102. 41002. It looks like the same kind of bend. But anyway, we're going to run this bend on the modded OS .21 with the 086. I'm going to see how that goes. Because I was just going to run this 86 086 knockoff that I have in there. It's like, why run that 86 knockoff with that conical header on a modded .21 when I can run this off that 86, this setup? I think this will be better. So we'll find out. But anyway, update on the MBX. Listen, I'm going to send this out to my brother, Gearhead. He said he could weld it, so it's just, I can't. What has happened, I'm trying to locate a brand new chassis for the MBX 5. What happened is, just from the guy drilling certain things and altering so he can move you're not supposed to be able to move these back and forth on this vehicle. Okay? So, because he altered part of this, I mean, he even altered where the bump box is. He cut this part out to try to get whatever to fit better. So anyway, it's just been hacked, and I fixed it numerous times, but it's not holding up. I mean, check it out. It's just, you know, I would have, there somehow has to welded something over that and then re-drilled out again. I'm leaving this one in here, and I'm going to send this to Gearhead Attic, and he's got the setup, the equipment, and all that, because I don't. And hopefully he can fix it for me, and that'll be temporary. And because as it is, the MBX5 Prospect is shut down, out of commission for a while. But that's okay. So one OG classic window shuts for a minute. Boom, another one opens up, because now we have what I needed so I can get this thing put back together, get the center drivetrain all ready to roll, and we're going to rip this thing. I'm going to probably try to get this thing, don't quote me, but this weekend. I'm not sure. So anyway, now what else we got going on? It's time, people, to replace my wheel. What do you think? You think that wheel's done or what? I think that sucker is done like dinner. Look at that. That wheel is history. I flipped it like 3 times, 4 times, grinded, it's almost hitting the plastic. I don't think there's barely any wheel on there. So we are going to throw a new, fresh wheel. By the way, if you have one of these Dynamite boxes, the Losi, there's the number. Pause. Wheel fits right on there. So I know a lot of people have been looking at these. I know Woogie was looking at these. Listen, I run 2 5,000 milliamp nickel NiCad Viper batteries in this thing. Okay, and this thing has one motor with my modded motors, and some of them that have killer pinch steel. Look, this thing's a beast. You don't need 2 motors. This motor and this setup and this box is strong enough. If you want a good quality box for a decent price, I suggest this box. Now, you can always take one of the motors out of the Dynamite, and I thought of doing that too, or not the Dynamite, but the Duratrax, if I wanted to, but I don't need to. I've never had any issues with, and I'm not running no lipos in here. 2 5,000 or even 2 3,000 Viper milliamp batteries. No lipos. If you run 2 big lipos in here, or even 1 big lipo, this thing will be even more powerful. The one motor's plenty, trust me. I have never had a problem with this box. I love it because it's exactly like the Losi box, but the problem with the Losi box is it's only for Losi vehicles. So this is the same box in the internals, that's why the wheel fits in here. Same setup inside, same identical box as the Losi, just adjustable. So I can put any vehicle I want on here, just loosen these up, slide them back and forth. It's not the quick adjustment, who gives a crap. Flashpoint does make some, but not, I don't know if they would fit on this box. I heard Adam Drake, they make them for the, what was that? I think it's the, he has a Mugen box. I'd like to get one of those Mugen boxes since I've got a few Mugens, and we'll probably have another Mugen. Okay, so we're replacing that wheel before I head out to the field. Now, as far as my gear, this is all I need to go out to, when I head out to go brapping. Got my head warmer so I can get it nice and hot because obviously the weather's chilled out. Got a couple extra batteries for my bump box if I need them. Temp gun so I can make sure it's up to 200 before I fire it up. I don't tune to my temperatures. That's just so I can make sure it's up to temp before I start tuning it. Then I, as like Adam will tell you, and other people tell you, I go by what I hear and the way it sounds. I know what it sounds like when it's tuned. Okay, and those of you that have been doing this long enough should know. If not, you will learn. Take these so I can dust all the shit off when I'm done. Got my little compact tool thing. This is my little stopper. I actually have stoppers, you know, to stop the flywheel, you know, or whatever. Glow igniters, man, I bring as many as I can because you never know, man. Those things have just, sometimes they go out. You can never, it's better be safe than sorry. Wheel nut, plug wrench. This is my little miscellaneous box. Anything that I've ever had come loose or had break or lost, I put in here. Zip ties, everything. And I always carry extra plugs. Okay, you never know when you might lose a plug. I've never lost a plug, but some people have. Woogie. But anyway, that's my little kit. I call that the Muggy Nitro First Aid Kit. So that's all, you know, return springs, you know, the carburetor springs, rubber bands, I mean nuts, bolts, anything I might need. Okay, tuning driver, I got my Huddy tuning screwdriver there. Well, that's the body. Fuel bottles, actually, obviously. Another little tune I can use it. This is a good little, you know, flathead. And I have a couple other wrenches that I throw in there, but that's the basics. Obviously, I have room in my radio thing. And oh, remember people, somebody asked me, hey Muggy, you need to go next level on the radios. Well, I have. This is a pretty good radio, man. I really like it. I was surprised. Sanwa MT4. This is a $300 radio I got for free with 3 receivers. Came with the Mugen. So anyway, what else do we got? Oh, so let's end on this. Now, somebody, I think it's Oregon Gas and Nitro Gas or whatever. He was having issues with his when you're setting up your clutch and your flywheel and all that. You got to remember, okay. One, all these collets are all different sizes. I mean, you know, they're different. As far as some of them are shorter, some of them are thicker. So they're going to fit. All of these are going to fit different when you put them when you go to put your flywheel on. Some of them are going to sit all the way in, like that one. Okay, see how that one just sits in there? I can get it out now. Some of them are going to stick out. That one sits in too. Let me see if I can find one that sticks out a little bit. Some of them are going to allow your flywheel to, you basically, if you can see that, you don't want your flywheel resting completely, and you should put a washer. Make sure when you put your shit on, use my language, you put one of those flat washers behind the collet before you put it on. Or what's going to happen is that collet, some certain motors, it will press into the bearings. I've had it ruin one of my, and I changed it, but the RB modded Novorossy 28.8 Rex Legend, the one that's in the, that's going to be running next in the MBX7, that one of the reasons I did replace it with ceramic bearings, because this motor has ceramic bearings in it, was because the front bearing, I didn't put a washer behind the collet, and it pressed the bearing in, so the bearing was getting messed up. It was still good, but it was on its way out. So, preventive medicine. Don't wait till your bearings go out. If you see that they're, you know, that they're getting sloppy, or you can see that the cover, the dust cover on them's getting warped or whatever, just replace them. Because if you wait till they go out, you're gonna do damage on other stuff. You know, the best maintenance is preventive maintenance, which means you do it before it actually happens. If you guys need some good bearings or good price, you don't have $40 to spend on Boca bearings, for 2 Boca bearings, you get 10 of whatever different sizes, and they'd have variety ones for less than 15 bucks. The company is TRB. Look them up. Good bearings. I haven't had any issues with them yet. I've been running on my clutch bells, and I've noticed I haven't replaced these, because usually clutch bell bearings, man, you replace them probably almost every other time you run. And you know, and they're only $1 a piece, but I mean, if you start spending on good bearings, I mean, still, they're not going to last forever. So anyway, also too, remember, when you're this clutch nut, and let me show you, hold on a minute, where's my, put you guys on the Muggy stand for a second, so you guys can see me. I need to loosen this up anyway. But your colic is going to affect the size, I mean, of how far out your clutch bell sticks out. I think Oregon Gas Company guy, Central Oregon, whatever, he was having a problem getting enough clearance to put his, you know, his bearings all the way in, because you don't want your bearings not sitting flush. That's no bueno. Okay, so anyway, when you're putting on your clutch nut, I mean, yeah, your flywheel nut, this here, some of them are going to be also taller than others. If you're going to You know, sometimes you might have to put a shorter one on, that way, you know, because you want to get the right shim. Also, one more important, and I've had this issue so many times. I'm the expert on clutch bells now, because I've had so many times where my clutch bell was the reason that my shit didn't idle, the reason that it didn't tune, the reason that it didn't perform right. That's what I'm telling you, man. I don't know, like I said before in the last video, this whole setup here, your flywheel, your clutch, all that is very, very vital to the performance of your motor. Don't worry about tuning your engine if this shit ain't on point. If this shit isn't on point, forget about a tune. It ain't happening. Alright, so get good at this. That's why the muggy, I mean, that's why I tell you guys this, man. And you go watch, you know, the Nitro knucklehead over there, you know? Nitro bonehead. You know, he does a lot of clutch videos and always emphasizes, because he's got it to a science, because he knows how important it is. His shit performs the way it does, and mine does too, because I've learned to get good at this, not just this. It's not, you know, tuning isn't just this. Tuning is, like I said before, everything that connects to your motor. Pipe, plug, carburetor, bell, all that has to do with the tuning, not just the 3 needles. Don't get that twisted. Your tuning isn't just high end and low end and your idle. That's a small part of it. Learn to tune this. That's what's important. Okay? So anyway, you want the right amount of shim. I think this one's still kind of loose, isn't it? No, I tightened it up. No, I tightened it up. See that? See, it's got a little bit of a... That's perfect. You don't want it no wiggle at all, because then the bearings are going to expand, and because you left no room, you're going to blow out bearings. And you don't want it too loose, because if it's too loose, and when it expands, it's going to be even more loose, and then your shit ain't going to idle right. Okay, you'll get like a 10-second idle, if that, and then that shit will just die. A lot of it's because of this, man. So anyway, yeah, so just make sure, you know, when you put the clutch, your set screw in there. Now, some people will do some blue thread lock. Some people don't. I've done both. Never had really any issues with it. But also remember, you want to be able to the clutch, the nut, this bolt right here, should be able to bottom out all the way and still be able to spin your clutch bell freely. Now, if it goes, if you go to tighten this up all the way, and as soon as you tighten it down, your clutch bell hardly moves, it's because the clutch nut there isn't long enough. It's too short. Okay? And what you're relying on is your spacers here, and a lot of times it's not going to work. You have to make sure that that this screw here or bolt bottoms out. And if it bottoms out and you still have slop, then you just shim it. Okay? But if it bottoms out before that, then that's the wrong length. You want to have the right length in there. I don't know how many times I struggled with that. So anyway, now this video, we're going to end it soon because we're on an hour again. Now, this is the last thing I want to talk about. This is now a one-of-a-kind. I've only seen one LRP .32 done like this. Okay? Modded? Yes, it is modded. And it has ceramic bearings in it. I had them installed. Okay, after Lance... Lance is the one that modded this thing. This is an RCR. I don't know if you can see the stamp. Doesn't come out that much. Too bad it wasn't like a different color, but see, it says mod and then RCR. This is modded. Okay? Now that whole motor package that you guys see me get on the last video, the Huddy package, the problem that I'm having, and I'm not having a problem yet, but I've got to try to find a way to get the bearing rest out of there. Because what happened is when whoever pulled the front bearing on this Huddy block, they left the race in there, you know, the outer part of the bearing. So all the bearings and everything came out except the outer part of the bearing. It's in there still. And I've heated this thing up to 500 degrees and it's still not coming out. I might have to get a bearing extractor or something to get it out. I don't know. But I'm not really worried about it because, you know, the block's good and everything. I just got to get that out and put a ceramic bearing in it. You know, I've got a whole motor out of this. But the crank is, I took the crank out of there. because I just wanted to see, you know what? Let me see if that DLC coated crank, because you guys know that I need a crank or need to fix the crank on the LRP32, right? Well, guess what? I mic'd it and everything. Miking, those of you that don't know that lingo, I used a micrometer and I measured it to the T. That DLC coated crank fits perfectly in the LRP.32. Oh, super snap! What? Does the Muggy have a modded LRP.32 Spec 4 with a DLC coated crank and ceramic bearings? Oh, schnizzle. For schnizzle my nizzle. The only other one I've seen like this, well, not mod, it's a different mod. The only one that I've seen, an LRP.32 modified with ceramic bearings and a DLC coated crank, was one that John had done for his friend that Neil did. So this one is modified by Lance at RCR Mods, but it's got ceramic bearings and a DLC coated crank, people. Oh shit, that's like super next level. Is that like next level? Or is that like next level times 2? I don't know. So now I am a little bit, not a lot, it doesn't change the fact of how I feel about this motor. Now this motor has, you know, it has become kind of a Frankenstein, but in a good way. It's got an Italian carburetor, and it's got a European French, I don't know where Huddy's from, I think they're French, somebody told me. It's got an Italian carburetor, the Novarossi Italian carburetor, and it's got a French DLC coated crank. Kind of crazy, huh? The Muggy has an LRP.32 modded DLC coated crank and ceramic bearings. So, super snaps. Look at that. I was so excited, man. So for 15 bucks, that crank, by the way, is probably worth at least 150 or more. I don't know. Floyd Brewer was telling me that that crank's worth money. I don't know. It's by Huddy. You know, it's a nice crank. It's semi-modded. It's ramped and everything too. So, you know. So now the LRP.32 is reborn, people. Revised. Ready for duty. Attention? Yes, sir. And I was ready to retire it, man. I really didn't care about this motor just because, you know, of you know, what was going on with it. And because of the fact that, you know, it still doesn't change the fact that this is still at the core, well, at least the core of the crank anyway is French, and the carburetor is Italian. But still, as far as the sleeve, the piston, the rod, man, I wish I can find something that fits in here that's not made in Taiwan. Because other than that, the rest of this thing is a Taiwan motor. So, but we'll see. It's going to get its chance to prove its innocence before proven guilty and retired. I'm going to give it one more run, and we're going to see. We're going to continue the LRP32 break-in, but that won't be for a minute because I have other stuff to do. As far as I've got other motors I've got to get running. I want to continue that .28 shootout. But it's nice to have, you know, I mean, I was kind of bummed out because I put a lot of money into this thing, man. Now this thing's definitely got more money into it. I mean, we're talking probably about a $600 motor. If that crank at the minimum is worth $100, which it's probably worth more than that, I don't know what a modified DLC coated crank would be worth. You guys tell me. So now that that's in there, plus the carb, plus the modding, I mean, it's a $600 motor. That's the most expensive rice burner that I own. So I mean, that's why I wanted to, like, you know, when I was you know, gonna think about getting the crank, I was like, man, I got to get that fixed. You know, I was kind of stressed on it because I put a lot of money into this thing, man, and I was just ready to just write it off as one of my worst Nitro financial decisions I ever made in my career, was even screwing with that motor. But now that it's got a DLC coated crank, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe it might blow up now. Kids can't handle it. And then we'll just end it. And if it does, it does. Oh well. There's, you know, $500 down the drain. Oh well, you live and learn, right? But I don't think I think that motor was going to do well now. I think that'll help it. definitely help it. And it's going to be a badass 32. But how will it hold up against the modded 28s? Rex Legends? Nah, these are still my favorite, man, because this is Italian, man. This is an Italian piece of jewelry, people. Italian motors, Italian pipes, Byron's fuel, or give me death. Nothing else, okay? So anyway, people, that's all I got. Just wanted to share those couple things with you. I am excited also about out of that motor, the Huddy deal that I got, I also was able to build me another Hyper 21. So I've got 2 Hyper 21s that I've built, and basically I've built that LRP 32. Pretty much. So we're going to see what happens. Alright, so anyway, I'm excited about this. But first up, we're going to run this thing. You guys will see the next video coming up here later today. We will be rocking the modified RB, bam, modified, bam, R5 Team Edition Reds. So again, Mr. Drew and Mr. Family Affairs. If you guys got your Reds, do yourself a favor. If you want to see what these Reds are really all about, get one of these babies modded. It is a monster. They're badass motors stock, yes. Great for racing. But once you mod them, it's a whole nother animal, bro. If you don't have one of these, if you're a diehard Reds guy and you don't have a Reds modded, I don't know what you're doing. You're missing out. Unless all you want to do is just, you don't care to have a Reds that has killer, like, 1,000 more RPMs, then hey, whatever. I like my Reds. Compared to my stock one that I have up there, which I have another one, it's good. It's a badass little motor. But compared to this one, man, this thing's an animal. You guys will see. You'll see when we run it in the Tekno. The Tekno is going to get a handful and an earful today. Trust me. That little pea shooter right there, modded Reds, is going to whip this thing all over the place. You'll see. Anyway, that's all I got, people. I'll catch you guys on the after the run video. You know how the Muggy will run it and blah blah blah, and then the video afterwards. So, or I'll see you guys actually at the video, because I'll be explaining to you guys what's going on. So anyway, that's all I got. Muggy Maniacs out. We already gave the shout outs. Oh, one last thing. If you guys want some killer cleaner that makes your shit shine and you don't have to even touch it or anything, try this shit. This shit is badass. And it smells like candy. It's pretty crazy. Shine and protect. Protect. This shit's badass. Anyway, and try that Blue Magic stuff. Trust me, you try that Blue Magic stuff, man, it's not even the same as the frickin' Brasso. That stuff works badass. So anyway, catch you guys later. Muggy's out of here. Peace.